Hi, welcome to What's Cooking with Rochelle. Today we are going to make a southern pecan pie. We're making it with a little bit of a non-traditional crust. We're going to do a nut crust for that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So I'm doing a couple of mixed flours. So pecan pie has pecans. So I have about 3/4 of a cup of ground pecans. To that we're adding a 1/2 cup of oat flour and about 2/3 of a cup of white flour, about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now if you wanted sweeter you could add a little more sugar, but pecan pie is pretty sweet in and of itself. So we're just giving this a quick stir. I have here 4 tablespoons of melted butter. This is a non-salted butter that I have. And we're going to simply put that in here and mix it up. I'm using a 9-inch pie plate today for our pie that we're making. You want to get this good and combined. And if it's not coming together, add a little bit more melted butter. You don't want a soupy mess, but you do want it to stay together. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do with this is pour it in our pie pan here. And this is one of the reasons I chose this crust for you, is just to kind of show you a little different variations. Just gently push it around, okay? Then here's the easy peasy trick. So we're just going to gently get it kind of in the area we want it. And then we're going to take I just use an old pie pan, and push it down in the center. Use your fingers and just push on it. And then you're going to do the same thing on the sides. Just gently give it a push. Oh, we kept some of it. Put that back in place. And once you like how it looks, as far as whether it's compacted and how high and how soft it is on the sides, we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. You're just going to cook it to brown it a little bit. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be putting the pie in it. I have my oven at 350 degrees. And we're going to cook that for about 10 minutes. You just want it to brown just a little bit, okay? Okay, so while that's in there cooking, we're going to go ahead and get the filling ready to go in the pie. I have 1 3/4 cups of corn syrup. I have half dark and half white in here. And I have 1 cup of sugar. We're going to go ahead and put these 2 ingredients together on the stove. Get them combined. You're just melting the sugar in it. After that, we're going to bring it back over here, okay? Now you don't want to burn it. You just simply want to melt that white sugar into the corn syrup. You do want to stir it though so it doesn't burn or stick. You don't have to stir it all the time like caramel, but you do have to stir it. So I'm going to show you how you can tell that the sugar has melted into the corn syrup. To this, we are going to add a little bourbon. Now, if you don't want any bourbon, don't add it. You don't have to. You could add flavoring if you didn't want real bourbon. And that's just the alcohol burning off, which is fine. We're just adding the flavor. Okay, and to this we're going to add a little bit of vanilla as well. That is a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to melt into this a half a stick or 4 tablespoons of butter. And just let that sit, it'll melt. While that's doing that, we're going to beat our eggs in the bowl. So I have 4 eggs that I'm gonna crack into our bowl. And, okay, so I'm gonna whisk these, but I need to go check our crust because it's probably been about 10 minutes. So let's check the crust. And you can see it doesn't have any color yet, so it's not done yet. So we're gonna leave it in there for a few more minutes and finish making our filling. So I'm just gonna whisk the eggs. You wanna get them combined. By that I mean make them light and fluffy. We're going to beat those a little bit more. Check our syrup. We're going to combine these 2 items together. So we're letting this corn syrup, sugar, flavored mixture that we made cool off, which is another reason why I'm stirring it. We don't want it to cook the eggs. So we do want it to cool off a little. Those look pretty good. Now I also have pecans. I have 2 cups of pecans. They were pecan halves that I just really rough chopped. We do want big pieces. The reason we want the big pieces is so that it looks beautiful. All right. Let's go ahead and combine these 2 together. Okay, so now we've got our filling. We just need to add our nuts. Now, if you're not a pecan nut fan, you can use this basic base that we've made here with whatever kind of nut you wanted to use. You could use a combination of nuts. Okay, so the filling is ready to go in that crust. Let's go ahead and check that. We can tell it is set enough. We're going to go ahead and pour the filling in it. And this pie is going to cook for at least 40 minutes to as much as an hour. So while that pie is in the oven, we get to relax and have fun. And if you made it with bourbon and you want to make yourself a drink while you're waiting, go for it. All right, so the pecan pie has been in the oven for about 45 minutes and it looks delicious. So let's go get it out. It smells wonderful and it looks beautiful, doesn't it? Perfectly browned, and we've got that wonderful nut crust, just something a little unusual. If you wanted a traditional crust, just go for it. But I wanted to just do something a little different for you guys today. Pecan pie, southern pecan pie with real bourbon in it. And I'm gonna have some once it cools off. Thanks for joining me again for What's Cooking with Rochelle. Bye for now.